All right, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks, Coach, for having me. I really appreciate being able to speak. And here's my contact information. What I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite topics, and that's culture and trying to build a culture and like a work ethic, a work hard, but also a play hard culture for teenagers for today. So here's my contact information. My name is Chandler Tygard. I'm the head football coach at North Jackson High School. We're in Stevenson, Alabama. We're a small 4A school about northeast of Scottsboro, right on the Tennessee-Alabama state line. Feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter or email, whatever, if you want this information, and I can get it to you. Basically, right now, I believe that football is sort of under attack. The numbers are down across the country. Numbers are even down in a town like ours. We are Friday Night Light football specific town where football is the biggest thing in town. And for our numbers to even be down, last year we started with 45 players. Now traditionally we have 50 to 60 players. So for that to be down in our area, that's kind of a sign. But everywhere I've been, I've worked at a bunch of schools, and getting kids out for football is always a big topic that gets brought up. So everything I'm going to present today it's going to increase your numbers, and it's going to make it to where it's fun for the kids. So if you keep in mind that everything I do as a coach and everything we do as a program is to recruit, reach, and influence teenagers, 13 to 18-year-olds. Really, we even take that down a little bit with our kids camps, and we want to, try to recruit kids into our little league, into our youth league, into our middle school program. I don't look at it as a bad word, but we're recruiting like our own players. So we're recruiting our hallways. We're trying to get kids out the hall, trying to get kids that play other sports. Kids in our situation, a lot of them go to a tech school where they learn welding and stuff. So we're trying to get some of those. I mean, how our big welders and farm kids, those are some of our best linemen. So we got to get them out for football. So everything I'm doing is to try to increase the numbers on our team, and the culture we build makes it to where it does it for itself. I mean, it brings kids in by itself. You don't have to go out and actually talk to people at other schools. They want to come play for you because of the stuff we're doing. Um, a little bit about my background. I've worked for 8 different head coaches. I worked in college for a long time, spent 7 years at the University of Tennessee, been at private school, been at public school. I've been at a large public school, now at a smaller rural public school. I've been a little bit of everywhere. I've won as many as 14 games in high school as a high school coach. I've won only 2 games. So the big thing that I've taken from all the places I've been is that the culture of the program is a big difference between the winning and the losing. Not necessarily your schemes and all that stuff is great, but in my opinion, it's a little overrated if you're skipping this part, the culture piece. Some of the coaches I worked with, Lane Kiffin is one of my, and Coach Orgeron were 2 of the most influential people, and I was only with them for 1 year. So that tells you that their culture and what they do is so strong that I learned more from them in 1 season than the majority of my career. Philip Fulmer was the coach there for a long time when I was a student assistant. And his philosophy and Coach Kiffin's were completely different from a style standpoint, but they actually had some similarities that a lot of people don't realize. Now, Coach Kiffin and Coach Dooley were total opposites, treated people a complete different way. I'm not going to go into any negatives, but I'll just say that the culture in the building was completely different, which led to different results on the field. Some of these guys are the best recruiters in the history of college football, and a lot of that stuff and style from these guys that are such good recruiters like Terry Joseph or Lance Thompson, we've taken and thrown into the program to recruit our own players. So these are just kind of some of the guys I've worked with and where I've been and how it led to what we believe today. The first thing is, before I talk about all the fun stuff and all the different stuff we do, is there's no shortcut for success. You can have all the fun and the work and the work hard, and especially the play hard part. All the kids want to play hard, but they don't necessarily want to work hard. They want the shortcut. They want a magic pill, a special supplement, a shot, something that they can do that's going to be a shortcut to their success. And it really just doesn't exist. So we talk about what's called the mountain of average. So the majority of people in this world, whether it's business, football, whatever, they're on the mountain of average, okay? And the human nature is not going to push yourself to that elite level. It's just not going to happen. So how do we as coaches try to push them to the elite level of working hard and doing that stuff, okay? So everything we're doing is to reach them, to push them off the mountain of average. And we talk about this. We do some insane workouts. Over here, this picture on the left is where we go run this giant hill next to the interstate, and all the trucks and stuff are honking at us. And you know, it's tall grass and chiggers and all that stuff, and it seems insane. And the kids, you know, they're miserable running this hill, but it's something that's just one example of the things we do that is different. It puts them through pain. It's an experience. So football, in my opinion, is moments, memories, and relationships. So they're going to remember running this giant hill through the tall weeds and how crazy that is. This is about a mile down the road from our school. So we run down there, run the hill, and run back. And then my offensive line coach, his favorite quote that I've used or found is from this book, Leadership Strategy and Tactics. And the quote is, "In elite teams, pride is formed through shared suffering." All right, so he loves that quote because he's a big O-line guy and, you know, likes the shared suffering part. But basically, this book here is written by Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL. He's got all kinds of YouTube videos and stuff. And I've got books at the end of this presentation that if you're into that, you can check out. But basically what he says is that the Navy SEALs, the Delta Force, all the elite teams in the military, they are formed that way because they go through shared suffering. So they go through their buzz training or their hell weeks or all this kind of stuff. So in order to form pride, which is one of our core values at our school, we have to go through that. So there's no shortcut. You don't get the fun stuff without doing the work. Okay, so that's got to be at the beginning of this presentation before we talk about some of the fun, cool stuff we're doing. Chief Wars, okay, so this is our off-season workout program. So this starts right when football season is over. Okay, we give them some time off, but right when we go into off-season, okay, we draft teams. So what we do is we bring over all the seniors, rising seniors, over to my house. This year we played Hungry Hippo to determine captains. So this is some of the kids over here. They're playing. I've got a 4-year-old. They're playing this Hungry Hippo game. The winner becomes the captain. Okay. Once we get captains, we draft teams. So we've got 50 players. We're going to draft them into 5-man teams like the NFL draft. So we'll make a big deal about it. The captain will go up and, you know, announce his first-round draft pick. And we assign them into teams. So a lot of people do this off-season stuff, but some of the cool things and the best part we do is we assign points, okay, just based, not off all kinds of crazy things, just based off being there. So we have football periods during school, so you should be at school anyways, but a lot of times kids will miss. So you get 1 point for your team just for showing up. If all 5 team members on your team show up, you get 4 bonus points. Okay, and then on competition Friday, we'll play a different competition game. So over here, this is us playing wiffle ball on our 340-pound right tackle trying to hit the ball. But you'll get 5 points for your team for each kind of win. So we've played dodgeball, we've played medicine ball, volleyball, soccer, flag football. We've done a little bit of everything. But Friday is a big day. We'll do weight room competitions. So competition Friday gives their team extra points. We put all this stuff out on social media. The kids that don't get picked on a team or kids that come out for football late, they get placed on the free agent team. And we keep up with their points as well for when they win different events. And you can also be kicked off your team, like Shark Tank style, I guess, to where you're just, if you want to get rid of a player who's not showing up or not doing well in the competitions or not trying hard, or their grades are bad, we keep up with those too. You can remove that player for 25 points. And then the last thing is we give out gear. Everything is earned here. Nobody gets a free t-shirt just for being on the team. Once you hit 400 points, you're going to get a t-shirt, you're going to get shorts, you're going to get sweats and that kind of stuff. So everything we do here is earned, which I'll go over later. But there's no free gear. So that's all. You got to be there and you got to be, working hard to get your stuff. So that's all the hard work stuff that we do. The culture thing is the biggest buzzword, I guess, in coaching right now, I think. So a lot of people are saying it, but it's just whether they believe it or not. So is it hype or is it real? And this is how I kind of look at it. So I took this from Fergus Conley. So there's another book you guys can check out. But what it is what people see your culture, they see your two things, your behaviors and your artifacts. Okay, that's what's above the water. That's what can be seen by somebody on the outside. So if you walk into Lowe's and you walk into Home Depot, you can see the culture in that building determined by the behaviors and their artifacts. How are you being treated? Okay, and then how does everything look? Is it clean? Is it picked up? Okay, it's the same with a field house. All right, now underneath the water, this is the stuff you cannot see. Okay, so the first thing that shapes those before you get to behaviors and artifacts is your beliefs. Okay, these are kind of determined by where you're at, what kind of school you're at. Is it a big or small school? Is it rural? Is it wealthy? Is it in a big city? Is it, all these different things? Your parents are shaping their kids' beliefs. Well, your parents are going to act differently depending on what part of the country they're from, what's their socioeconomic standing, that kind of stuff. So you can't change your beliefs. That's just what you're going to inherit as your team. Okay, you can shape your core values. Okay, and your core values are going to shape your attitudes. So we sit down with the kids and we decide our own core values. All right, now the kids come up with it, but it is led a little bit through me. So there's certain things that our program historically has always believed in. And so that's what I want to lead the kids to understanding. Discipline and toughness, especially toughness here, has always been a core value since the football team was founded. Well, that needs to still be there, but how do I lead the kids to understand they want to say, they came up with it, that they believe they should be tough in order to win football games. So I kind of shape it that way. So once you get your core values, now that determines your attitudes. Okay, so I'll go over our core values here in a second, but everything we do, if they're given an attitude against what we believe in, we can call them out. If our team wants to be disciplined and we're doing things in the spring or the summer, okay, or fall camp and jumping off sides and doing that stuff, I can remind them, look, you said you wanted to be disciplined. You said that was going to be one of our core values, okay? And then why are you giving me attitude when we're calling you out for this stuff? This helps the kids, okay, police each other because they understand what our values are and they understand how they should act. And ultimately, if you can transfer the ownership to the kids from the coaches, then you've got a really good team, in my experience. Okay, and then again, that goes back to shaping the behaviors and artifacts that outside people see. Okay, and we'll kind of go over how we're changing the culture with what we're doing right now. Culture is what people say and do when you're not in the room. Okay, so that's the Amazon CEO. Drive the culture day in and day out and hold everybody accountable. This is important. Don't sacrifice culture for short-term results. Everything you do in the program matters. Unfortunately, we had to kick off an all-state player week 7 last year because he was doing things that went against what we believe in. We could have won a few more games last year if we could have short-term sacrificed what we believe in our culture. Okay, but we're not going to do that. So in the long term, we're trying to build a program for the next decade. So by doing that, you can't shortcut this thing. Here's the core values we came up. I wouldn't copy them. I'd just come up with your own core values. But this stuff is important. If you just throw up a bunch of stuff on the wall and say that these are our values and this is what we're going to do, and a lot of coaches come in and put their stamp on things, that's fine. But if the kids don't understand it, they don't say it. Your assistant coaches aren't saying it during practice. It's not placed up on the walls. Okay, it doesn't hold a lot of weight. The same thing is I worked at a school where we had all kinds of motivational quotes on the walls, and it was a very nice facility. The problem was none of the assistant coaches said any of that stuff on a daily basis, so really it was just ignored. And a lot of the kids didn't even realize who the people were that were giving those quotes and what they meant. So this is what we came up with this year. Pride came from our current principal, a brand new principal. His dad was the principal of North Jackson for 25 years. He always gave speeches on pride. So if you find an alumni that came through the school 20 years ago, they're going to be talking about the old pride speeches. Okay, well, our program had kind of lost its pride. And that's what we're trying to gain back. And you'll see that from the artifacts that were left before I arrived and then what we're doing now. So that had to be a core value, and so we talked about that. I'm big into family atmosphere. So, the kids already understood that when we were talking about this stuff, but you need to reevaluate this stuff every year. So we went over these core values last year. They were the one or two was slightly different, but then we reevaluated it this year and see now we have a better understanding going into year two and what's important to us. And so now the kids can take ownership in this and really understand what we're saying. Here's some behaviors. So the picture on the left was the trash behind the lockers when I first arrived. So when we first came to a field house, we were blessed to have a field house that's about 20,000 square feet that's just for football. The problem was it was in such disarray, okay? It showed what the culture was, okay, as soon as you walked in the door. A kid signed with Mississippi State the year before I got there, and I can't imagine coaches coming into that building and seeing this picture on the left and what the state of the field house was. Or on the right is what it is now. So we rebuilt 60 new lockers. All of that was donated. Some of our quarterback club people built the lockers by hand. So we didn't spend a single dollar out of the football budget for this. Every single helmet has a place, the jersey has a place, the chairs have to look a certain way, the shoulder pads have to look a certain way. So if Nick Saban walks into the locker room tomorrow, he's going to have a certain understanding of what it is we're about. It only takes 8 seconds to form an opinion on somebody for a first impression. So if we only have 8 seconds, we want our place to look nice. We don't have this board, but I saw this at Iowa State, the respectful cyclone, just basically being polite and doing those things. But when you see this hung up in the field house, you understand, okay, this is what their coaches are teaching. And that shows the behaviors that you're trying to get into your culture. This picture on the right was, I was hired April 1st, and in 2 weeks, we were doing a giant volunteering effort with the National Cornbread Festival, which is right down the road. The kids that never volunteered before, honestly, the perception of our team was that we had a bunch of rough, thuggish type kids, and that's really not the case. Nobody knew them. They weren't out in the community. So we're taking them out in the community. We're doing community service every year, and it's completely changed the perception of our kids and what we're about. We were in Southern Living magazine in May, so this was about a month later. One of our local farmers got stuck in the corn bin. The fire department had to cut him out, and so he was going to lose thousands of dollars of corn. So we loaded up some of the football players and took them over there, and we shoveled corn all day, and it ended up becoming a huge national story. But what it was, the reason I wanted to go over there is because, we're just helping our community members. It's the whole family atmosphere in our entire community. We didn't do it for the media coverage or any of that kind of stuff. It actually made me a little uncomfortable how much coverage we got. But it does help change, you're seeing different behaviors from our kids. They were the same kids all along. But because we're out in the community doing these things and the kids in the community seeing our behavior, they're getting a complete different understanding of what our culture and what we're teaching and who we are as people. And it just helps. It helps all across the board. Just from this situation now, this same farmer is one of our largest boosters, and it's helping us with some crazy, awesome fundraising stuff this year. And it's just for being selfless. So if you do it for other people, it will come back to you tenfold. Now the artifacts, which is my favorite part. So when we decided to brand, I look at artifacts as branding. When we decided to brand our program, we wanted to be the swaggiest of the swaggy. We want to be the coolest of the cool, the neatest of the neat, and we want to do whatever we can do to make our program look cool to teenagers. Remember, I don't care if it looks cool to an adult. I really care if it looks cool to a 15-year-old, and keep that in mind because they're completely different even than when we were in high school. The first thing is if you can do field house renovations. That's a huge immediate change. If you were fortunate, we were fortunate to have a lot of money. We went in and raised $75,000 for a weight room and locker room upgrade. It made it look top of the line. Vinyl wraps, new lockers, personalized, chairs with your logos and all that kind of stuff. If you are fortunate enough to have the money, you can do some major things. Basically, just go take and see what a college is doing. And we tried to make everything look just like a college. Where I'm at now, we don't have any of those financial resources. So what we've done is we've really not spent any money. We've gotten everything donated. We just painted the floor. We did the concrete grinding ourselves. We got the wax donated and the paint donated. We put up vinyl wraps. So I designed those myself with Photoshop. I get a lot of questions on these. So basically what it is you just design it yourself and you can save about $100 an hour. And then our pricing to hang it up is about $10 a square foot for someone to print it and hang it. So vinyl wraps is one of the best things for changing the appearance of your field house. So this is what we did our front door and we did the main wall. So the first thing you see now in those 8 seconds when you walk into our field house is that awesome looking door and a big old mural with those are pictures from the past. So some of the tradition we have, we wanted to hang that up. Be the tradition is our slogan. What that means is we're talking about tradition. The school's been open for 32 years. We formed between a merger of 2 previous high schools, but this is the 6th highest winning percentage football program in the history of Alabama when I got there. So we've got a long-standing tradition, but at the same time, we've only been open for 32 years, so we can create new traditions moving forward, in which we're doing. So that when we say be the tradition, it's talking about in the past, but also in the future. And so we've hung that up everywhere. So we're real big on tradition and culture and pride, and we want to show that on the walls. We like ping pong tables. It works out great for getting the kids to play together, especially if they're not close. It gets kids hanging out together that necessarily don't. We assign them lockers by jersey number. We don't let little cliques form in the locker room. We just got a little pop-a-shot basketball goal, and we just want them to have fun. So a lot of times the field house might be the nicest thing that your kids have the entire 4 years they're there, especially in our situation. So we want them to feel at home, and we want it to be, if it's the nicest thing they have for 4 years, that's what we want it to do. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I went and visited Georgia Tech this off season, and if a Division I school could just print out handouts and laminate it, hang it on the wall, it's good enough for them. Then why is it not good enough for us? It doesn't have to be a big vinyl wrap. So now we just print out different signs and laminate them and put them all over the building. If it's good enough for them, it's got to be good enough for us. So here's another awesome book. So Brands Win Championships. So again, this is where I got that it takes 8 seconds to build a first impression. So basically what this says is everything matters. So when we're talking about field house renovations and stuff, every single thing you do is a big deal. The logo you pick is a big deal. The team colors you pick is a big deal. And North Jackson football has never used the red, but every other varsity sport did. So we're kind of bringing the red in that's never been done before. It shows it's new, and we're doing it with a different style than we used to. And we've chosen that on purpose. So your program is your brand, and you are the brand manager. Your traditions are important. If you don't have traditions, you need to create them. That's what the kids are going to remember when they're long gone. They're going to remember the different traditions you had. Okay, and then your perception affects your recruiting, which can get you better players, which affects your winning. You can't win without good players. It affects your money. It's hard to raise a lot of money if you don't win, which then all of that goes into affecting your perception. Okay, so none of it is done first. It's all put together. Okay, but you can get bigger and bigger and start trying to get to a bigger perceived program. So if you're a small school, you can be perceived as a big, awesome program by doing these different things. And that's kind of our goal. So we want to be the premier 4A or middle to small school program in Alabama. And that's what we're working for. And so that's what we want to do. Here's the teams that have done awesome jobs of branding their culture. Nowadays you've got Minnesota and PJ Fleck, good or bad. That guy's definitely branded his program. Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech is doing the best job right now, in my opinion, from a branding standpoint. I mean, if you think about what Oregon had during the Chip Kelly years, what the U had, they had their certain style of culture. Coach Kiffin was out at USC, and they had all these celebrities and stuff on the sideline. And I still remember him sending out emails and letters to every celebrity in Nashville trying to get them on the Tennessee sideline, just because he understands that if you got celebrities on your sideline, it brings a certain culture. You don't have to be flashy and exciting. Virginia Tech has done it a long time with their lunch pail attitude and the props and their blue collar atmosphere. So we're kind of going on the flashy side of things, but you don't have to go that direction. You find out what's important to your town, your program, and then you kind of build it from there based on the kids you get and what you believe in. So here's what we do. So our branding stuff is we wanted to be obviously the swaggy. So I put this picture up here because when you look at our sideline, okay, we're not trying to necessarily look like Cliff Kingsbury. None of us look like him. But, okay, none of us wear coaching polos. Don't even buy them for the coaches. So when a teenager looks over there, they're going to see something that looks different. So we all wear long sleeve dry fits and, gray pants or black pants or whatever. But it's on purpose. When a teenager looks over there, we just want to look a little different. Okay. We put slogans on the back of the shirts. I mean, you don't see that a lot from high school coaches. So we try to, be a little different. Our strength coach down here at the bottom, he cut his sleeves off his polo. I wasn't the head coach at this time, so there was polos in existence. Well, he cut the sleeves off during a cold weather game because we want, all the teenagers out there. Man, that's pretty cool. So the fact that the adults are doing this kind of stuff, it makes it look cool to a teenager. And that's what we're going for. We brand everything we got, everything we can. We vinyl wrapped equipment trailers. At Ravenwood, we were Raptor Fast was our branding of our offense. So a couple students went home and they spray painted the big signal sheet hiders. We stole this idea from Oregon. So these sheets go up behind us when we signal, so you can't pick off our signals from the press box. A lot of people are actually voluntarily filming your own signals, and then you're exchanging them through Huddle every week. So we figured out that we were sending our own signals to the other team, so we decided to stop that and start hiding those. We choose our uniforms on purpose, so we want to chrome out everything. So we're an Adidas school. We have been the last couple of places I've been. I've got an unbelievable relationship with them. If you can get in with certain Adidas or Nike or whoever, if you can get in with one good dealer and understand what you're trying to do and can teach them that, they can help you out. So we actually got Adidas practice jerseys down here at the bottom for the first time. That was donated to us. And our kids were going out when I first arrived last April or May in spring practice, like the longest yard style with no practice jersey over the shoulder pad, just straight shoulder pad. So to get them the actual Adidas practice jerseys that they see college teams wear was a huge confidence booster for them. Now they got to earn it. They earned it through working in spring practice, but that was a big deal. We changed to a chrome spear decal. Our helmet's always been black, so we're not changing that tradition. It's always had a red spear, but we went to a chrome red spear, and then we added the tomahawk decals. I'm really big into pride stickers. The kids love those, so we do the pride sticker thing just like Florida State, and that deal. So the star at the bottom, everything's earned. One thing we're doing differently that I stole from Coach Collins is every kid is going to earn their jersey number. So just because you were assigned number 2 as a sophomore does not mean you're going to keep number 2 as a junior or senior. You have to work for it, and you have to come meet with me or send me something that says why you want that jersey number. Seniors don't get it just because they're seniors. Kids are going to get it based on how they work. If they don't work hard, they're not going to get the first choice of jersey number. Jersey number is a huge deal to a high school kid. It's a shame that it is such a big deal, but it's a massive deal. And so we're really careful on what numbers we give people and why. And we just want to make sure they earn that number that they're getting. We make a swag cart. I don't remember where we came up with this idea, but we took a John Deere Gator, put in some powered speakers in the back, and it drives around practice. It does our practice clock. It's blasting music all times. We have different theme days for our music. And then this picture on the right is what we have now. We actually added a powered subwoofer to it. So that thing, it's in our weight room, it's in our locker room pregame, home and away. It's on our practice field. It is literally everywhere we go. We'll go in the gym and do mat drills or agilities, and we take it in there and blast with music. So studies have shown music can increase their strength numbers when they're in their effort. So, and the kids like it, so we're taking it everywhere we go. We have a team DJ. We started this a couple years ago. So this picture here at Ravenwood was our assistant principal. So the fact that he would go out there and DJ, we found out he was a DJ in the past. That was a huge deal, and the kids love this stuff, man, that an assistant principal is doing that for the games. We have a current parent right now that's a DJ, and so he's our team DJ. So he DJs the lift-a-thon. which is one of our fundraisers we do in the spring. We're pushing it to whenever we get back going this year. He DJs home games. He was going to do our prom. Anything you need a DJ for, he can do it. And so we just call him up, and he just, volunteers his time. And it's really neat because, what team that's got a team DJ for their home games in their student section? So it's different, and we do it on purpose, but it's fun. The kids like it. We had a run in this year. The band parents didn't like it. They felt like they were getting stepped on a little bit, but the band students absolutely loved it. So make sure you clear it with those people beforehand. And the older crowd don't like it as much, and the newer crowd loves it. So you just got to kind of place what you want to do, and you got to be a little political when it comes to this, apparently, because this was a huge deal. Our DJ this year is going to be doing ClubDub, so we're stealing this from Charlotte. We did it last year, but we're kind of taking it to the next level this year. So Charlotte, Coach Healy made it on ESPN, I know. So that's him in the mascot mask. When they got their bowl eligibility, they make a nightclub in the locker room. We do the same thing, but this year now we're going all out with the LED lights and all kinds of stuff. So what we want to do is when we win a game, we want to make a memory that they're going to remember forever. So that's why, it seems a little crazy to go all out, but that's what we're going to do. The other thing is I'm guilty of, we win a game by 40 points, but I'm still upset because we didn't play the way that we were supposed to play. And I'm hoping this is going to help to where no matter what we win, we're going to make a focus on enjoying that win, because I'm very known to do that in the past, and so I'm trying to get away from that. We've had a high school game day show that was put on YouTube. This was in our county a couple schools ago, and this is one of the best things I've ever seen, because you get thousands of students, 2,000 students up in the stands before the game, literally having a game day show. This was our Adidas rep on the left, and then our Williamson County athletic director on the far right. And these two guys put on the show together, and so we're trying to get them to come down to Alabama this year. But it's really neat. All you do is you film the show and you put it on YouTube. If you got a broadcasting class, they can do all this stuff. This is for a big rivalry game. We've got I like the trophies for the rivalry games. We do graphics for it. It's just a huge deal. It's just, look at the kids in the background. They're loving this stuff, and you're adding memories that, most people don't do. And if you can do this kind of stuff, you can stand apart from the crowd. Right now, we do a weekly head coaches show. I bring on a couple players every week to kind of get them on there. So this is put on through one of the local TV stations, Mountain Valley News, and then it also goes on YouTube and stuff afterwards. Right now we do it at a different sponsor, a different restaurant every week, and so it moves around week to week, and it brings in some families and some people to come see the show to each of those restaurants. It's kind of rewarding them for their sponsorship and for their help during the season. And it gets our message out. So we're always on the front of putting our message out, regardless of the wins or the losses. We don't have to have a huge, we don't have to wait on reporters to come ask us questions. We can always put out our spin on things that we want. Here's a couple different themes that we do that everybody tends to like. So during game week, we bring the kids in on Sunday. We have Tell the Truth Sunday. We have Competition Monday during game week. So that's our full pad day. That's what we're going to do Oklahoma. And spider drill and that stuff. We've got Turnover Tuesday, No Mercy Wednesday is we don't have any breaks. So it's only an hour and a half practice, and it's real quick, and so we don't slow down at all. We have No Repeat Thursday, and then you got your game day. We do the same thing with music, so we got themes all over the place. We've got Metal Monday, Trap Tuesday, White Boy Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Freedom Friday, where we play a bunch of Toby Keith, American flag theme stuff. We've done a 1776 lift where you do that many reps on July 4th and you dress up in American flag gear. We got Arm Farm Friday, which has been a big hit. The Keep It 100 lift is 100 different sets of 100 and different exercises. Your Rivals lift has been a big hit. So basically you say, hey, next week you're calling out this person, and in every single lift there's gonna be a winner and a loser, and you're going to failure. So what it does is it makes the kids sleep knowing I'm going to go against a rival, okay, and these different things, just kind of like a game day. And so that's been awesome. The coaches, we like to lift with the players. We don't do it every time, but it's a couple things. The first thing is if your players can see you suffer a little bit and you humble yourself in front of them, they like that a lot. You'll be surprised how much harder they work if you do the same lift with them. The same thing is I like to do the lifts that our players are going to do. So I understand if we design something that's just insane and we have no chance of finishing it, then I don't want to be yelling at the kids for that insane workout that we came up with. We've got a bunch of finishers that we stole from Coach Lou at Georgia Tech. So basically what that is when they're tired, you have a weight room finisher is the last thing you do. So we'll do 10 jumping jacks, but don't count 7 and 9. Say ready, go, and see if they can count to 10 doing jumping jacks, not count 7 and 9. And they always screw it up, and then we'll punish them when we make them concentrate. Do 5 jumping jacks and count in Spanish, and they'll screw that up too. So there's lots of things you can do to make it fun, but get them to concentrate and be disciplined towards the end. The Chief War games that I mentioned earlier, capture the flag, relay races, that kind of stuff during the off season has been a big hit. If you don't have a website, you need to get one. You can make one on Wix or a lot of other programs out there. We're redoing ours right now, so it's not live yet, but we're working on it. And it's a big hit. It's another way to brand your program, and you can kind of sell what you're doing. The first thing people are going to do when they're interested in your program is they're going to Google you. So you need to have a website that they're going to be redirected to get your message across, and it changes your perception. We're really big in social media, so we've got huge social media accounts. So you can follow us at North Jackson FB on Twitter and Facebook to see what we're doing. And I'm at Chandler Tygard. We do 3 graphics a week. So we'll come in and, for game day, we'll take great green screen pictures. This is a green screen setup on the left. It's just a $150 setup off Amazon with lights and green screen. We take pictures of the kids and we put them on graphics. So we'll do, a game day graphic, a score, a recap, scout team player of the week, a bunch of different things. And we like to, always be having stuff out there. And we use our sponsors, and that's another way to get our sponsors out there too. If you're a coordinator and you're not a head coach, I do believe in branding your side of the ball. So when I was a defensive coordinator, our term was we were Sack City. So we made T-shirts, we made social media graphics, the whole thing. When I was an offensive coordinator, we were Raptor Fast. Now we've got Tomahawk Tempos. We've got a bunch of different things. So brand your side of the ball. So at least if you're a coordinator, that gets your name out there and it gets what you're doing out there. It gets the kids to buy into what you're selling. And then that way it just moves and it changes that perception. Man, they're really on top of that side of the ball at that school. Here's kind of the stuff we put out after games, different stats. That's a game day graphic. So we'll put out the score, kind of a recap. We'll put that on our website and we'll tweet it out and put it on Facebook. So keep making a bunch of these things. We do a schedule poster every year. We do teachers of the week. We do scout team players of the week. So we're constantly doing stuff, and this is all done through Photoshop. Don't go get an app that's cheap and easy because it ends up looking like crap in my opinion. So sit down and learn Photoshop. I taught myself off YouTube, and I'm not very smart, so you guys can figure out how to do it. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, just go to YouTube and start searching for Photoshop sports graphics, and you'll figure it out. We believe in coaches participating with the students. So this picture here at the top is from homecoming. It was the jerseys and jorts theme on the hayride. So all the kids did it, but even the coaches got out there in them short Daisy Dukes. A lot of kids in high school, they look to the football team, okay? And if the football team is too cool to dress up for homecoming or theme weeks, they're not going to dress up, Well, the football team's looking to the coaches. So if the coaches are too cool to not dress up for camo day or whatever, they're not going to dress up. So in my opinion, the whole thing's more fun if the whole student body's dressing up and participating in all this school spirit stuff. So to do that, it all starts with you as the coach, and then it trickles down to the players and then the students. The other thing we do is we bring all the students out of the stands after the game because we're all one big family. So students, parents, everybody, they're all allowed on the field, and they can hear the kind of post-game talk that we give, wins and losses. We do it all right there on the field, home and away. So that's a big deal. So the family comes together and we kind of give that last speech, and, we get everybody out there. Recruiting. So this is a big deal in my opinion. Me and some of the older guys have gone back and forth on whether it's the high school coach's job to help your player get recruited. I 100% believe it is. Like, it's your job to help your player get evaluated, recruited, and signed. There's a place for every player, even a kid that you say has no chance of playing college football. I've seen some of those kids go to some different programs, whether it's D3 or NAIA or whatever. A lot of these small colleges, they need bodies to stay open. And so you can provide those bodies for those kids that want to play. Me and the assistants, we help transport players to colleges. So we'll take them to junior days and camps and practices and all kinds of stuff. And the more players you get signed, the more it's going to grow your brand. Okay. And so here at one point, we were signing at one school, 56% of our seniors, just college scholarships, where the national average was 3. So if you're looking for a program, I mean, I want to go look at the program that's putting kids into college. Never mind if it's D3 and NAIA, that's fine, or D2 or whatever. But just get your kids out there, and at least it gives them the shot. A lot of kids will go to a small school and they'll play for a year and quit. And you might know that that's going to happen, but at least they had that opportunity where if they went and just were a regular student, they wouldn't get the second chance to go back and play. So try to keep them playing the best you can. We do a women's clinic. So this has been a big hit to where we bring in all the ladies from the quarterback club and all through the community, and they come in and they run our same camp just like our kids camp does. So we put them through Chief Ball, which is like ultimate frisbee with a football. We have an X and O session with a chalk talk where they learn some plays. We put them through some of our plays. They do some individual drills, step over bags, that kind of stuff. And we give them a T-shirt, the Heels to Helmets T-shirt every year. They take social media graphics just like we're doing here, so the whole thing. We do the same with our little kids camp. We had a cow splat this year. This is new. This works well in a rural area. So we brought a cow out, and basically it's cow bingo. So you're placing bets on where the cow's going to go at the different parts of the field, and we turned them loose, and it was a big ordeal to get all the bingo squares sold, and it went in the first square as soon as he hit the field. So he was a little pin up, I guess. I think they were feeding him all day, didn't let him out, so he didn't last very long. But it was fun, and it's about having fun. We do yoga and meditation with the kids. I know a lot of programs are doing yoga nowadays. It's just something different. The first time you do it with a freshman in high school, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. But it's just more things that they originally thought that we were crazy, but now they like doing, they're bought into, and it does help your kids' flexibility. We're real big into sideline props. So this right here, this is our turnover belt. I know a lot of people are doing this nowadays, and it's even a little overdone, but it's not about me and you. The kids like doing it, and the kids love it. I mean, they love getting this stuff. So we don't give them a lot of chances to be individuals. So if they get their 5 minutes of fame with their turnover belt, it's a big hit to them. The same thing with we've done a turnover belt. We've done a hammer for the kid that hits the hardest. We've done a turnover chain in the past. I've seen a house call phone. I've seen a little bit of everything, the trash cans and all that stuff. So just find whatever your kids like and go for it. We talk about ego as the enemy. So we don't have any captains until the playoffs. All right. So the other thing is we let every senior go out for the coin toss. So whether we have 15 seniors or 4 or 25 or whatever, we're going to split up all the different seniors and I'll let them get a game, because that's one memory they'll have forever, is going out there for the coin toss and at least looking like they're a captain to the whole organization. Then once we hit playoffs, we assign different captains. We elect captains for that time. It doesn't have to be seniors. Last year we had a sophomore, 2 juniors, and 1 senior. So we just kind of let the team elect it, and whoever they want, that's what they get. Everyone cleans. So in the fall, the seniors get the weight room, juniors get the locker room, sophomores pick up the trash, freshmen clean the field. I do not believe in making the freshmen do everything. I don't want the seniors to think that they're some sort of special person because they've been there for 4 years. We don't like egos in our building. So even the seniors, they have the easiest responsibility because the weight room's the dirtiest, but they are going to clean. And then in the spring, we actually call them out alphabetically by name. So we'll put, Joe has the trash, Jason has the locker room. Well, if Jason's really good to all of his teammates will help him clean the locker room. Well, if Joe is not, he's not a great teammate. He doesn't help other people when it's not his day. He's not going to get any help cleaning his responsibility. So basically it teaches them leadership to where, well, I better help when it's not my day. And, I better be a good teammate so I can get help when this stuff happens, when I get assigned the bathrooms or whatever. And then we actually, print out, here's what you do when you're cleaning the bathrooms, all that stuff. We got a huge field house, so to keep it clean, we don't have janitors or anything, so it's on us. Same with the coaches. So, the coaches clean up after themselves. The players don't pick up for them at all. The coaches don't pick up for the players. So everybody, picks up their own stuff. The coach can't be afraid to do the dirty work. The head coach, you need to take out the trash. You need to paint the field some. You need to do different things to show that, you're not above anything either. And if you can do that, then I think it trickles down. We don't do an end of the year individual awards. We'll give out, we do different team stuff. But I've always hated preaching team all season to then at the banquet give out MVPs and all this other stuff. So we've never done that, so we're not going to do that here. The other thing is we wear team colors all the time, so we don't have any blue or neon greens or neons or any of that kind of stuff. We've kind of laxed the rules a little bit on what they can wear, but they are going to wear matching uniforms, and they're going to be team colors in that deal. If you break the rules, you're sent to the pit of misery. Dilly dilly. So what we do is we called it late squad before, but we've got a coach in charge of this, and so the coach gets to choose the music. Remember, we've got music pretty much everywhere. So if they hate techno music, then that's what we're going to be playing during that period, whether they're running or doing other kind of stuff. It's not a true punishment. It's just a reminder to keep doing what it is they're supposed to be doing. They know if they messed up. So we don't get mad at them. We just hey, pit of misery, go and get it done with. The funny part is you'll play some bluegrass for them, and that's another memory and stuff that they'll remember, even though they're going through that pain. But once they go through that pain, then they'll have pride in it. So I've got kids that still talk about the giant hills we've done. One of the crazy punishments we did after we showed our behinds in one game. So, they still talk about that. So if they're still talking about it, they remember it. So obviously it got through to them. So that's why we do that stuff. We have a family atmosphere. Everybody, wants to do this, but we definitely go all in. So the picture in the middle was my 4-year-old. For Valentine's Day, he wanted to bring all the kids cupcakes. So him and my wife went out and got cupcakes for the whole team. We have the kids over to our house all the time. We have a different position group over once a week. Once the Corona stuff started hitting, we were feeding these kids like crazy. So we were having about 10 kids a day every day until the governor shut it down to where we couldn't see them at all. But we want to do as much as we can. My family's going to be as involved as they can be. We've got 4 coaches with 3 and 4-year-olds on the staff, and they're always running around. We've got Disney Channel on the TVs in the field house. My kid knows all the players' names. He looks up to them like crazy. And your kids need to see how you act with your family, how you act with your wife, how you act with your kids. No, you're not just this, big, mean football coach or whatever. You care about them just as much as you do your kids. And they will react completely differently if you do that stuff. I've been around staffs where kids weren't really allowed, and I don't agree with that at all. So, we're going to be as much family atmosphere a program as we can do. It's one of our core values. And so then obviously all the rules come back to protect the family, and that's how we kind of circle everything together. Keep in mind, everything you do is to recruit, reach, and influence 13 to 18-year-olds. So, that's the goal there. So you got to get more kids out for your team. You got to be able to reach them to get them to do the things that you want them to do, get them to be good people. Well, you got to be able to connect with them on a level that they understand, and you got to be able to do things that are a little different. How are you a little different than the regular teacher that they deal with, or how are you a little different from their parents or from any other adult that they've dealt with? So if you can be cool to them, okay, but also be hard on them, then you can reach them in a whole nother level. Because they'll open up things with you that they normally wouldn't do with a football coach because they can relate to you. So everything we do is trying to get to that point. So, and that's how we came up with this stuff. Just keep in mind, though, we do things a little differently. And so what we've done is we create a lot of haters, and that's okay. Be yourself. And so don't change the way you're doing anything because you have to impress one of your coaching buddies. Don't choose an offense or a style or a uniform to try to fit in with your former coach that you worked with or your mentor. Do things the way that you think they need to be done. Come up with your own style and what you really believe in, and the kids will understand that. And regardless of what anybody else says, just know they're coming. No matter what you do, if you're successful, you're going to get haters. So just get ready for it, and then you'll just brush it off, and it's no big deal. And if you're getting a bunch of these haters, it means you're doing something really well, because nobody hates on people that don't do anything well. So keep it up and don't worry about it. Here's some books. I'm really into books, so check out Jocko Willett, check out Fergus Conley. These are some good ones that I've read, and all the leadership books and all the stuff I've read the last couple of years, it all says the same thing. So remove your ego, and do those things. And if you can find a way to connect to teenagers, then you can reach them in cool ways. And here's my contact info again for anybody that needs it. Feel free to reach out. I'm an open book on anything we want. We're hurry up spread offense. We're multiple 3-4 attacking defense, lots of blitzing and man coverage, and we onside kick a bunch, run all kinds of face, and so I can help in a lot of different ways if I can.